back, everybody, to This Is My Bourbon Podcast. I'm your host, Perry, and he's back with me for a whole nother year. It's 2024, or at least it is in the future when this episode comes out. We're recording on one of the last few days of 2023. The Whiskey Mutant himself, Eric, is with me. Look at him. He's gotten studious, and he's learning. He's doing his research.
I'm doing my research.
Look
I'm
at
trying to be a
you.
good little mutant in 2024, so I know what I'm talking about.
Hey, growth is never a bad thing.
No.
I would say. It's pretty
I grow
positive.
all the time and
Yeah.
drinking. What? Woo.
You just broke everything. That's how we kick off
start
the
off
year
2024. I just
with
break
new
the camera
with new equipment
with these little bitty booklets that I'm studying.
We just got done with the pregame chats for this episode, and we tasted through the trio of Hardin's Creek releases that came out in the past year.
Go hard in the creek.
What do they call them? The Kentucky series.
Yeah.
So
They're cute little bottles.
let us know if you've tried them, and also head over to patreon.com/MyBourbonPodcast and support the show
Do it.
for as little as $1 a month. For as little as $5 a month, there's bonus content over there. That's where the pregame chats get released every week, as well as a bonus episode that comes out every Monday. And then some other fun little stuff that we do. First access to barrel picks, first access to live show tickets and meetup information, all that good stuff. I apologize.
Closer.
I also apologize. My allergies have been abusing me this week because the weather has changed 4,800 times.
Oh, it's been bad.
Really, really quickly.
Warm, cold, rainy, snow, warm, cold.
It was like 60 on Christmas, and here we are 4 days later, and it's been snowing.
Yeah.
So
Kentucky, baby.
fun stuff.
You know what? That's how they get the good bourbon. Look at all this weather change.
It's true.
Those barrels are all the good stuff's happening.
Audio listeners, if you had no idea what Eric was doing, he was demonstrating how bourbon goes in and out of barrels,
yes,
depending on the season.
Stuff's, see, I know a little bit. When things heat up, what happens?
It expands.
When things get cold, what happens?
It contracts.
Yes, happens to all of us, the best of us.
Yep.
And even bourbon barrels.
It's called shrinkage.
Yeah. Bourbon barrels. And so you're going to get a lot of, movement with this Kentucky weather. And that's why Kentucky bourbon is the best.
Yeah, because we have 4 distinct seasons. We sit on a limestone shelf, which naturally purifies our water. And
But none of the
Kentucky's
seasons
just
actually
better.
run together. They're just, you can have a different season every day.
yeah, this year's bourbon's going to be real hot.
Yeah. Real hot.
It's going to be aging quicker than normal. So in 12 years, that batch of Van Winkle 12 is going to be weird.
Yeah.
So
Send us a sample.
sure. Or maybe we'll find a bottle. I don't know.
Then in 12 years. The future!
We are kicking off. What are we doing this episode?
We're having
Sips
a
and
snack.
snacks?
Sips and snacks.
Yay. I love a good sips and
We're
snacks.
just going old school. There's nothing crazy, nothing like new. Somebody walked into my office at work and said, Merry Christmas the other day, and they handed me a Nutty Buddy. And I said, that's
okay.
amazing.
Thank you.
Because I know I love Little Debbie's. So I brought this home, and we are going
Mighty kind of them.
to have a Nutty Buddy.
All right.
And since it's a new year, we're going to have not a new bottle. We're going to have a classic. We're going to get a 15-year Knob Creek pick. One that's almost at the end of its time here. But this is a 2019 Unlimited Spirit. This is 15 years old.
I used to have this pick. Way back in the day.
Back in the day. They don't make them like they used to.
No, they do not.
I just feel like Knob Creek always goes with good chocolate and peanut butter treat.
I thought what you were going to say is I just feel like Knob Creek always.
I just always
Which is
feel
also a true statement.
Oh, that's true. One of the best.
Man.
One of the best. Nutty Buddy. And don't even call it a Nutter Butter, because people do that.
Because that's wrong. Those are two different things.
The wafer is just so light and crispy in there. Just enough little peanut butter.
They just don't make them like they used to.
It doesn't get much better than that.
Mm-mm.
Holy shit.
You know, I guess we should probably tell people what this segment is.
Oh.
So we normally start the show out with either Flying Blind, where we blind each other on a pour. Or Sips and Snacks, which is where we run the mutant style of things. And we pair something with bourbon or whiskey or whatever.
It could be something savory. Usually it's a treat or a snack.
Mm-hmm.
People send us stuff from other countries. And
this was definitely a treat.
Oh my God.
Sure. Yeah.
Those old Knob Creeks just like linger. We're kind of talking about this on pregame chats, how the Knob Creek picks that we used to get, you could put them in a current limited bottling and they would you would be like, this is special. They legit are better than a lot of the newer, like, limited releases.
Daggum. Okay. Not upset about that.
I know. And if you just got into bourbon, like, I'm sorry. You missed out.
Because you can't get these anymore.
You missed out on, like, some of the best, like, whiskey ever. Mm-hmm. When you could just walk into a store and, like, every pick was, like, 13 to 15 years old.
Yeah.
That was the time. I sound old.
Do you remember passing on 13-year-old picks because you might find a 14 or 15-year-old, or there might have been a 14 or 15-year-old right next to it on the shelf?
Or you're like, I heard somebody else is getting a pick later on. This one's fine.
I'll just wait on it.
I'll wait on it.
Let somebody else have it.
Now it's like, oh my God.
Ridiculous. Sick of it.
Sick of it.
Well, we're gonna get to our best of here in a moment, but we also have to go through, because we are coming off of basically 2 weeks of not recording, and so we have to go through all the things that we've been drinking independently and also together, because last time we recorded, and we were just doing Patreon stuff. We were about to have a little family, friends Christmas.
Yeah.
Friendsmas?
Friendsmas?
Sure, whatever. It was you, April, Lucy, myself, and Eden. Mm-hmm. We had a fun night.
Yes, it was
hanging out together.
I had fun just sitting back and watching you take care of your kid. That was my Christmas present.
Well, she was something else. We had been holding on to a particular bottle for a while, and we decided that Christmas would be the perfect time for us to open it.
We thought.
And, do you want to talk about it? Do you want to tell them what it is for a second?
Yeah, it's a Spirits of French Lick pick that we picked up a while back. Like, it's been sitting for a long time. Mm-hmm. And it's not even like bourbon. It is a apple brandy finished in tequila barrels. Uh-huh. And it is hazmat.
Yeah.
It's over 140 proof. And it's waxed. It's got Splinter from Ninja Turtles on it. And, we just never had a chance to, let's break out some hazmat. Mm-hmm. Until the other night, and we said, let's just drink all hazmat.
Yep. and we did.
And listeners, we'll talk specifically about that bottle in a second, but I can 100% say, and Perry has the text, that I don't think I've ever felt high from just drinking bourbon.
We both felt whiskey high.
It was the weirdest thing.
It was so crazy.
It wasn't like a drunk or I was like, blah, blah, blah. I felt like I was just floating.
Yeah. Okay. And also, we weren't going ham on some hazmat. Mm-mm. It was just a
quarter of an ounce opportunity.
Yeah. An opportunity to break out some things that we had been given or that we'd been holding on to, because we record these on Friday afternoons. We're not getting into hazmat bottles before
this was special
7 o'clock, I guess. Well, really, rarely ever.
Yeah.
But yeah, we were excited about this one.
We had that. We had some samples sent to us.
Yeah,
that were
from Max Barrel Proof EDC.
Barrel Proof EDC. There was a what was the one?
There was the Mammoth pick
Yes.
from whiskeychannel.com, which was 140 proof, and then we had their Obtainium
Yes.
pick that they did with Trev Wilson. That was a 27-year-old Canadian whiskey and 162 proof or something like that. And that was the one that made us feel like we had smoked a lot of weed.
Yeah. I don't know what they did, but
Genuinely, that was
I woke up the next day
crazy,
feeling like $1 million.
I didn't feel bad.
I
really
good.
did not feel bad the next day. That was there were other days where I didn't feel as good this week. But
if you're on the Discord, you saw our initial reactions to the Spirits of French Lick. Not good.
Not good.
Not good. Real weird. Real strange. I don't know what I'm going to use that bottle for.
The weirdest margarita you've ever had.
Yes.
I mean, honestly, I don't know what else to do with it.
The other two hazmats were delicious.
Oh, they were fantastic. But yeah, that was a fun night. What else do we have then?
We had some Jack Daniels. The 12-year? Did we have the 12-year?
Oh yeah, we did have the 12-year.
And if you're watching,
right.
Here is the apple brandy with the crazy splinter on top of it. Ugh.
Still smell bad? Smells like floor cleaner.
Look at that thing.
And here's the thing. I like some of the things that Spirits of French Lick do. This was just a real weird one.
Yeah, I don't even know.
Not my favorite.
I know where we got this, but it doesn't say who actually picked it.
I think it was where we picked it from, or where we picked it up from. Because remember, they had other Spirits of French Lick bottles with other Ninja Turtle characters on them.
Yeah, this was 145.1 proof.
Because there was one that had Shredder on it too, I think.
Yeah. So, if you would like to try this and you have a hazmat that's good and want to trade a sample, hit us up.
Let us know.
You can go into my DM or Perry's DM, and we will trade hazmat for hazmat for this one.
So after that night, what did you get into?
Oh God. Well.
Do you want to go day by day? Because I feel like that might be easier for us.
That was
Friday. So Saturday. Saturday I went to. I'll save mine for a second because Saturday's a fun story.
I don't know if I had anything like just my normal stuff. I'm just going to skip straight to Christmas where I always make eggnog.
Yeah, you gave me some of that eggnog too. It was good. I
make eggnog Christmas Eve and let it sit in the fridge overnight. But I always do it with Maker's Mark. And this year, I decided, I was like, I got some Maker's Mark bottles that need to be finished. And I took FAO1 and FAO2 and blended them and used that as my bourbon in my eggnog.
Yeah.
So I did a FAO3 eggnog, and it was fantastic.
Yeah, it was incredible.
And that's what I sipped on Christmas morning. And then later that night, I grabbed a little bit of everything. I had some Jack Daniel's Barrel Proof. I had some Wilderness Trail. I even got a little bit of something that I can't even talk about because I'm not allowed to. And then we also had another bottle that we can't talk about.
Mm-hmm.
But that's just what I had solo. Do you have that with you?
Because I knew you were going to want some.
Yes. I text you like
immediately as soon as you got home. So what happened was we were out for a Christmas on Christmas Eve, and Eric forgot Eden's Christmas present at home.
Literally sat by the door. I got Perry's. Put Perry's in my car early so I wouldn't forget it. Forgot Eden's present on Friday.
So
felt horrible.
And and by the way, there were 2 times that you left your house on Friday.
Yeah.
To come over to mine.
Yeah.
You forgot both times.
Both times.
It's completely fine. But Eric and April were able to stop by Christmas Eve.
Yeah.
And I pulled this guy out. Now, I am not allowed to tell you what this is, how I got it, or really anything past the fact that this was a present that I got over Christmas.
If you get an unmarked bottle of whiskey as a present, you know it's special.
They either love you or they would rather see you dead in the morning.
Yeah, and when I brought Eden's present over, we came in, and I knew. Listen, I know how things work. I knew April was going to want to watch Eden open the present.
Yeah.
So that meant sitting down.
Mm-hmm. And having a little pour.
And I knew that would give us just enough time to have a pour. And Perry was like, I got the perfect pour for you. And it was this one. And we talked about it, and we had it. And I got home, and I said, I need some more of that. Good Lord. If Willy Wonka made a bourbon, it would smell like this.
If you want to drink paradise,
and then
simply look around and pour it.
And then you would get in trouble for telling somebody about it, and then he would get mad at you and yell at you at the end. Yeah. He was like, we know what you
get nothing.
You get nothing. But it is.
You lose.
It's chocolate and like candy.
Yeah.
Oh.
I'm very happy with this.
Oh my gracious.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gracious. Oh my God. Oh, that's so good, dude.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
It's ridiculous.
So yeah, got to have that and did some eggnog, and yeah, you can. I'm just going to enjoy this while you talk.
All right. Well, that's good because I got a lot of things I've got to go over what happened. So you already heard about Friday, Saturday. I'm going to run through these as fast as I can because there were a lot of things that went on. Saturday, we went to Lucy's family out of town. Brought along, actually, I had planned to bring along a bag of bottles, but we got out the door and onto the highway, and I asked Lucy, because she had been bringing stuff out to the car, hey, did you grab the bottle bag? And she said, no, was I supposed to?
Threw it on the highway.
Yeah. She said, no, was I supposed to? And I said, no, not really. I guess I forgot it. So we stopped at a liquor store on the way to her family's house out of town. And I was looking all over the place. I was like, I'll just get like Turkey 101 and maybe Benchmark Foolproof if they have it. And so they had a plastic bottle of 101 and then an old bottle of Benchmark Foolproof. The more like squat bottles with the rounded edges. Yeah. I don't know if you've noticed or not, but a little bit. They changed the shape. I'm curious what you think about this because this older bottling is quite different from what's in there now. So I had those, kind of drink on those throughout the day. Her family typically has like Mick Ultra as well.
I like Mick Ultra.
So, I mean, it kept me hydrated. So...
McDrip.
Did some of that. And that night, this particular day was her little cousin's 21st birthday. Shit. So everybody had the bright idea on the Saturday before Christmas to go out in downtown Lexington. Hammered. And so that's what we did. However, we got to the first bar at 10 o'clock, and her little cousin, and when I say little, I mean she is probably like 90 pounds soaking wet. She was right.
This smells dusty.
It's completely different from what it is now. Yeah.
That smells like a freaking like...
Here, hang on. I want some too.
I don't even know.
Anyway.
It smells so old.
They had started to go out before we did. and we got to the first bar, which was like their second or third, I think. And her sister, Lucy's cousin's sister, and her stepmom were on either arm, supporting her and carrying her out of the bar. Luckily, the hotel was less than a block away, and so they just walked her over there. Lucy's the older sister, the cousin of her cousin, the older sister of the girl whose birthday it was, came back and partied with us the rest of the night. But
you sent me the text the next morning, and I got tired.
You said that's what you texted me back. You were like, I got tired just reading that.
Yeah.
The funniest description of that night was from, the wedding that I went to earlier this year.
Yeah.
Right. That's Lucy's cousin.
Right.
Her husband was hanging out with us too. He goes, I feel like I'm in this really weird dream where I'm out with Morgan's family and Morgan's not here. And like, I can't understand what's happening or why. And I was like, that's just a perfect explanation of how this night has gone.
Welcome to the family.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
He's been around for a while. But we went up to Bell's Cocktail House, which, have you ever been to Bell's?
Mm-mm.
It's fine.
I've heard of it.
It's basically like all the preppy kids from my high school go there, which is not the worst thing in the world. But still, I was like, I knew I was going to know somebody there. I think I ran into like one person. But the fun part was we're up on the roof because that was the only place with even a little bit of room there.
Oh, I heard about this.
I look out over the balcony at one point, and there are 3 guys circling around a truck, and one of them has blood pouring out of his nose, and he's starting to take his shirt off. He has a blue shirt on like I do, and he was starting to like take it off. They were unhappy with each other.
Yeah.
And blue shirt guy stood next to this truck and started peeing in the parking lot. There were punches thrown. There were punches thrown. There were, that like boxing thing almost where they're like up against each other and they're like sizing each other up. But then we got to watch them make up as well. And there was shirtless hugs going on in 40-degree weather in downtown Lexington.
Did they make out?
No.
Oh.
But they definitely all had something to prove, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Big trucks.
Big hearts.
Sure. No, I don't think so. Eventually the cops got called on them too because they were still trying to drive.
Nice.
Wound up at Goodfellas at the end of the night
Top
as well
notch, guys.
as you do at the. Oh yeah, it's splendid, guys. You definitely want to take home to your mom.
God, I'd kill some Goodfellas.
It was good stuff. Sunday, went over to Lucy's grandmother's house. I brought over a bag of bottles. Brett and I killed an Elijah Craig 18. This was I really wanted to kill some bottles this Christmas because I had a whole bunch of them just sitting around from where we moved. And, I just wanted to kind of get rid of some of them, make a little bit of room.
Pours from the floor.
Pours from the floor.
Yeah.
So Brett and I killed an Elijah Craig 18 Christmas Day. Went over to Mom and Dad's. Brought your eggnog. Yes. My mom tried it. She goes, that's some of the best eggnog I've ever had. It just, I can't drink it because it's so strong.
I love Mama.
I was like, that's fantastic. Dad and I killed an OBSQ Four Roses single barrel picked by Brent Elliott.
Okay.
I was more than happy to do that.
Yeah. I mean, why not?
Went to Lucy's mom's that night. I don't know if I said this, but Emma, Lucy's sister, has been in or was in for about a week. And so we all hung out together. Oh, that was another thing. Friday night after you all left.
After the old people left?
After the old people left,
yeah.
Emma's boyfriend and my sister Sarah came over and hung out. And we were up until like 2 a.m.
I was asleep.
And good for you. I kind of wish I had been. We were up until 2 a.m. And then the next night when we went out, we were also up to 2 a.m. So I've been living like a college kid the past few days, and my body hates me. It is not happy with the decisions that I have made. I'm still sore.
Perry, it's me from the future. You have to stop.
But I don't want to. Yeah, I know.
Just do it.
Yeah, I know how this ends. So when Emma was over, she and I killed and she's a bourbon drinker too. She and I killed the single cask nation wild turkey that I had. So it was really good to have her in.
How much was that bottle?
150? Oh no, it was 101 because that was the price up until everything went up. But what?
Nothing. I was just trying to remember what the price of it was.
All right. I'm sick of it. Anyway. Went over to Lucy's mom's Tuesday night. Didn't really get into too much over there because I was already exhausted.
Didn't taste anything.
Yeah, everything just tasted like motor oil. Wednesday went over to Brett's house. Had some fun with his friends. Killed an Elijah Craig barrel proof B520. And an Innkeeper's blend 2XO. So it was a good night.
I like it.
Yeah, I didn't feel too good yesterday when I woke up.
Yeah, it's all good.
But it was a very busy, but it was a very good Christmas week. I definitely drank too much. Like I can openly admit that I drank too much this past week. And I'm still trying to my body definitely needs to recover from it. So I'm taking it a little bit slower than I have been, which I really needed. And heading into the new year as well, trying to lose weight. As we always do.
Should we do a non-alcoholic episode next week?
Wow, dude, actually, I would love to do that. Do you want to?
Yeah,
let's do
pregame, everything.
Oh, 100%. All the way across the board. Let's do non-alcoholic beer.
Okay.
Non-alcoholic spirits.
Okay.
Maybe we'll throw a non-alcoholic wine in there too, just for the heck of it. So, all right, cool. It's going to be bad. We're going to have a bad time.
But they're going to love it.
But they better. So anyway, this preamble has gone on for a long time. I know what you guys are here for. So we'll get to
the list.
Unless they're one of maybe 10 distillers.
Well, there's a bunch of people that didn't make the list.
That is true. So we are going to go through our best of 2023 releases. I also said to Eric, I want to introduce a new category this year as well, on top of what we normally do, which is most disappointing or worst, I guess, and honorable mentions. I wanted to throw in a best things that we drank this year, just kind of as a catch-all for particular products. Maybe not bourbon or rye.
Yeah.
Cocktails, maybe beers, whatever. So we're going to get to that in just a moment, but we should probably start off with our most disappointing.
Most disappointing.
I didn't want this list to be as long as it was.
I've put stuff on my phone. I've wrote stuff on paper. It's all over the place.
So I want to start with one that I think is maybe the most significantly disappointing for the both of us. Maker's Cellar Aged. Was that on yours?
Yeah, that was definitely on mine. It was one of those that was, I couldn't figure out which place to put it, whether it was the most or it was just one of them. But yeah, that thing, God.
And it's not even that it was bad.
It's not that
because it wasn't. It was good. It just wasn't what I wanted it to be.
No, I literally have a DNA and probably like 2 picks over there.
Yeah.
Like 10 BIP legendary picks, sexual chocolate, all that, that kill cellar age.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Enough to where they dropped a whole case at Kroger the other day. And I saw them and I said, no, I'm not doing it.
I mean, one of the things that this year really made me realize was how much I love Maker's Cask Strength.
Mm-hmm.
And part of that came from having tasted Maker's Cellar Aged and realizing just how good Maker's Cask Strength is on its own.
At a fraction of the price.
At a fraction of the price, without any additives or, extra aging or being, it's not even double-digit age statement,
Yeah.
I just... I really, really realized just how much I loved Maker's Cast Strength this year. So, unfortunately, cellar aged fell under the disappointing category.
One of my other ones was the 8-year Old Fitz.
That was on, the 8-year, not the 10-year?
Well, I don't think either Old Fitz. I think I was disappointed at both.
Sure. I put, and I'll jump ahead a little bit. I put, maybe I didn't.
I didn't think.
No, I didn't. I didn't even put the Old Fitz 8 in my honorable mentions. I just kind of left it in the.
Looking back,
Purgatory.
I don't think either the 8 or the 10 were Old Fitz category.
Well, I thought that the 10 was worse than the 8.
Yeah, either way,
and I was much more disappointed by that one. On the Heaven Hill train, Heaven Hill Heritage 20-year corn whiskey.
I mean, I didn't put that on there just because I didn't even think about it.
See, that's the thing is like there are a couple in here that were so unmemorable that's what made them disappointing. Yeah. Like a 20-year corn whiskey, 20-year mellow corn,
Especially a special bottling.
That. There wasn't anything truly like jumping off the page about it to me.
Staying on Heaven Hill, one of the disappointing ones was the Elijah Craig, the golf tournament one.
Ooh, I actually the Ryder Cup.
I did not like that.
I actually put that in my honorable mention. Going back to it, I thought that it was different enough from the typical toasted that I enjoyed it, and I can understand why you would be disappointed in it because it wasn't as like special, I think, as it could have been.
Yeah.
But I do think that it was enough to be like, it was enough for me to consider it like a semi-special pour.
Yeah, that's fine.
This year.
I just didn't. It was just, I don't know.
We'll stick with Heaven Hill again.
Oh.
Parker's Heritage 10-year rye.
I don't think I was disappointed enough to put it on the list. It didn't make any list for me.
Okay.
It was just, that's just what it was.
I just think it needs, Parker's in and of itself needs to be more special in its existence. And, you see a 10-year rye, but like, here's the same thing. Like, was that rye memorable to you at all? Mm-mm. See, that, like, to me kind of qualifies a disappointing,
I guess so,
pour.
I guess I didn't think about it even to
exactly.
Put it on there.
So. Yeah. What else you got?
I know a lot of people raved about this, but when I thought about it and I even went back and listened, I was like, I did not like that. Was the Copper and Kings?
See, I actually put mine on my most disappointing as well.
Yeah,
and I think it's because it was hyped up for me so much. Mm-hmm. I don't dislike that bottle, but there are so many other things that were either hyped up or I just enjoyed more than the Copper and Kings. I couldn't help but put it on.
I will be 100%
most disappointing.
Honest with the listeners when I say we tried that bottle, and then
that night you had it again.
Then that night I had it again, and I had Fireball beside of it, and I may have liked the Fireball more. I don't know. Either way, I was
high proof hot take.
Oh yeah.
I only got a couple more. The Maker's BEP. That barrel entry proof.
I will agree. I put the Maker's, like, I couldn't remember what it was, but I just remember, I'm usually excited about those.
Yeah.
And it was just like.
Well, my note next to the BEP was, I can't remember it.
Well, there you go.
Like, I just didn't find anything that was, like, worth noting in that release.
Yep. I agree.
Jack Daniel's Single Malt. I thought was okay.
I didn't put it on any list, but like it didn't make the bad list, but it didn't like go.
Well, the reason I think I put it on there was because we had that other single malt that was, I guess it was higher proof. They were both finished in Oloroso casks though, and this one I just thought fell kind of flat.
Yeah,
for me,
it wasn't much.
And then my last one, which I think might be the worst bourbon I had this year. And I apologize, I'm definitely not saying this right. The Kentucky Owl Meister, Maighstir, it's bad, dude. It's really, really bad.
Yeah.
My poor dad bought a bottle for his birthday, and he wanted to open it when everybody was over, and it was really bad. It was the worst qualities of Scotch with some of the worst qualities of bourbon. Just a bad combination of things.
Yeah.
I couldn't wait to stop drinking it. I couldn't wait for that finish to get out of my mouth. It was rough. Yeah. And I'm really happy that I don't have to ever drink that again. But things that I would like to drink again on my best things I drank list. I'll let you go first, I guess.
God. All right. So you would have had to have listened to last week's Patreon episode to know this. But I had two things that I have to mention. I have to mention them.
It's on mine too.
There was two things that I had that were instant. I'm going to put them on the honors because we didn't get to review them. We kind of just talked about them, and I didn't get to go through the proper. But there was an Augusta 13
the Buckners.
Buckners, yeah. Amazing. We just had a sample supplied to us, which I appreciate that. And then we also, this is, I'm giving you a little bit of content if you're only on if you're not on the Patreon, but we got sent a sample of the other Pride of Anderson County,
the 120.8,
the 120 bourbon, that we didn't get to try, and I will say it's pretty special. I'm not going to I'm not going to get into like the prices and all that, but it was. If I was going to put something on an honorable mention, I would put that one, and I would put the rye.
Yeah.
The Pride of Anderson County rye.
Well, and both of those were on mine as well. The reason that I didn't put them either on my honorable mention or the best of list was because of how limited they were.
That's why I just wanted to mention them. I'm not going to put them on the list.
And that's a good reason why I wanted to do this particular list. Because there are single barrels that, single barrels that go into that, things that we didn't review, things that, were just things that we got to experience, but didn't quite meet the criteria for a wider release. And I know that there are some like LE products that we will wind up including in honorable mention and best of, but to me, that's a much wider release than single barrels.
Yeah.
As well. Mm-hmm. So single barrels kind of get lumped into best things.
Yeah.
I drank this year.
But yeah, I had to talk about it. It's not, like you said, it's too limited and too hard to get to put it on like an official list. But I enjoyed having that, especially after probably the most talked about episode of 2023.
Definitely the most talked about
at least the one that got the most feedback. The Pride of Anderson County. So.
And if you're still here, thanks for sticking around.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you for not stoning me.
Woo. Anyway, I think this is my standout bottle for the whole year.
Oh, okay.
This is the one that when I think about my favorite things that I had to drink all year long, and my best find ever.
Maker's Mark.
Is the old gold label Maker's Mark, or gold wax Maker's Mark. Yeah. I am so tempted to go back and drink that daggum bottle all the time. And I just have to stop myself. It's so unique. It's so much a time capsule from that era as well. And they just don't make it like they used to either. Literally, they don't make it like they used to. It's not even the same mash bill as what they use today. I'm thrilled that I was able to open that as like a housewarming bottle for myself.
Yes.
Getting into the new place. But off the back of that was the bottle that I was originally going to have as my housewarming bottle, I guess. The ADHD Whiskey Barrel King pick.
I love that thing.
The 9-year-old MGP finished in Willet barrels.
I turned into a straight up tater after we had that, and I DM'd Matt to see if I could get one, and it didn't work.
Yeah.
So
I'm really sad that I don't have a whole lot of that
when
left.
I found, especially when you told me it was Willet, and I was like, I just admit I love Willet stuff. So
yeah, finished in Willet purple top barrels.
So good.
Crazy.
That was amazing. For me, I got a couple more. What did I drink? We shared this with a couple of other people after last year's Bourbon Bowl. Todd Cooper let us.
Oh my gosh, I forgot about that one.
When we were with Chad and Sarah after the It's Bourbon Not Bourbon Bowl, Todd Cooper was there. We were the 3 refs. And we got to pop
Special Todd.
Special Todd. We got to pop you will have to remind me, it was a Booker's from like long.
It was the 1980s.
And we had it there, and it was something special.
Yeah.
I mean, it was so good.
One of the best bourbons I've ever had.
I thank Todd again and Chad and Sarah for letting me do the event, and then Todd for having that bottle because it was so good.
Yeah. I completely forgot about that.
When my last trip to Disney, at the Polite Pig in Disney Springs, they had their Stag Junior pick, and it was by far the closest thing to George T. Stagg that I've had this year.
Wow.
So good. I don't know if they have it, and it's kind of pricey. It's like $40 a pour, but it was vacation. It was
sure.
Yeah, I mean, I was like, oh, so good.
May as well.
Yeah. And then the last thing was and I can't really like single anything out because I had so much, but it was just like the bottle share at the meetup. Just that whole experience. Yeah. Like we had, I mean, you can't blame me because I was getting poured things like every second.
Yeah.
But I had so many good things. People were pouring stuff. Like anything I had at the meetup is just one of my favorite things that I had this year.
Yeah.
So
I got a few I need to throw in here.
All right.
The Wheat Science Stout.
Yeah, that's good.
It was if I were
this.
Well, that's
bottle.
our secret.
Anyway, but yeah, that was the best stout. Oh, I could say on my disappointing was all
of the Goose Island, except for
the
the backyard, which I had. You didn't have, but I still just was. I was blown away by the Wheat Science, and off the back of that, another Chad and Sarah bottle, the Mash Made in Heaven. I was able to revisit at the Big Bourbon Night. Maybe my favorite Knob Creek pick of all time, and to get to not only taste it again after having killed my bottle years ago, but for it to be at another event with Chad and Sarah. The other event was their wedding.
Yeah.
I say like it was an open to the public thing, but also with Todd Cooper, who was on that pick. Yeah. It was really, really special, and James Wolverton for that matter. James was there as well.
More of that Wilderness Trail that they.
I don't know, man. Do you want me to ask?
Yeah, ask again. I just want to see because just to see.
Your eggnog.
What?
Seriously, it was the first eggnog that I ever truly liked.
What?
I'm not just blowing smoke. I really, really. I've even got a little bit saved in the fridge right now.
It'll last.
Because I wanted to savor it a little bit.
I have like ever since I started really getting into bourbon, like I have went back and forth, like adding a little bit of this or a little bit of that to my eggnog to where I'm like, okay, I think it's good.
Yeah. I think it's wonderful.
That one, I think with the two Maker's Mark special editions added together it was probably the best one I'd ever made. Well, thank you.
Yeah, of course.
Love that.
I hate to pat ourselves on the back.
Oh, I have that one too.
Our barrel rye Armagnac pick.
No, I don't have that one. Sorry. I have our Lawrenceburg bourbon.
No, our Lawrenceburg was. I was gonna get to that in a second, but
I should have put the Armagnac on there.
That I think we did our 2 best picks ever.
I know for a fact those are our 2 best picks.
Like without a doubt. Those two single barrels are
cinnamon roll recipe. Cinnamon roll 3. God, Armagnac and Lawrenceburg 1 and 2. I love Riffmas, but I wasn't on that pick yet.
Yeah.
But I was part of it.
Riffmas is definitely top 5 for me.
And then
but I think our
Trail.
The Picking in the Rain.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That was it. Those are years past. We get the...
Yeah. Maybe we'll do a favorite barrel pick episode.
That would be fun.
Someday. I'd like to give away like a flight of all of our barrel picks that we've done sometime.
We've still got enough. So
and off the back of that as well, just Lawrenceburg Bourbon Company in general. That was something that just smacked us in the face at the beginning of the year.
That 10 by 10 rye.
Yeah.
That was good.
Both of those 2 ryes that we had at the beginning of the year. And I think we had one of the bourbons too.
We had all of the bourbons.
Yeah.
We had sample. We drank them all.
Yeah. It just it was so weird to just have this. It was kind of like how it was with Curly.
Yeah.
They just came out of nowhere and we were like, hey, we went in on this.
Yeah.
Please let us. And Greg was super, super generous and kind. And,
he's got a lot of things going on now, too.
He does, man. It's funny how quickly, and this is something that's been going on since basically the start of the podcast. It's crazy how quickly people that you have worked with outgrow what you do.
Oh, yeah.
Like
he's booming.
Greg blew up, man. Yeah. And I'm so happy for them. I'm so proud of them too. Oh, geez, let's see. Speaking of friends, the Rye 3 Oak and Thieves pick.
That's a good one.
Still love that bottle, man.
It's a good one.
I've been savoring that one.
Yeah.
I can't. The bourbon spanking cocktail that you got for me at my birthday. At the Manchester downtown. That was an incredible bourbon cocktail. And I felt real nice afterwards.
Give him a birthday spanking cocktail, and that's
because he's been. And you said because he's been a bad boy. I was like, that's just fantastic. Mead.
Oh,
just mead. I've loved getting into mead this year. I haven't had any in a while.
You've been enjoying yourself.
I enjoyed me.
What?
Speaking of me.
Oh, here we go.
I was really fortunate enough to find multiple bottles of a Jack Daniel's single barrel strength whiskey that was dumped on my 30th birthday this year. I've drank through a couple of them.
Not bourbon?
Well, you know what I mean. I drank through a couple of them, and then I found one last one.
Yeah.
And I don't know how long that's going to go unopened for, but it's one of those that I just need to...
Till you're 60.
Maybe.
Do it.
Yeah, unless I go to rehab before that.
Sure.
We're all going to have like a mass exodus to rehab.
Yeah.
I feel like. 2 more. The Jack single barrel strength ryes that came out this year.
David Levine's.
David Levine's 2 picks.
Yes.
And then, we got sent a sample from Jack Daniel's themselves as well. This is the second year that we've been able to do samples through Jack Daniel's.
That one almost made my top 10, but I know that it was, with it being a single barrel, it was hard to put it on there because, somebody could have tasted one that was completely different.
Yeah. And then I think this is my other favorite favorite bottle that I bought this year. Turkey 101 12 year. It's not a new release. I kind of thought about fudging it and putting it in my best or my honorable mentions. That's another one much like the Old Maker's bottle where I kind of have to like stop myself from going and drinking too much of it at any one time. I do believe it's time to move on to our honorable mentions of 2023.
I would like to think. Oh,
How'd you think, Jesus?
I'd like to think my dad, who I've not seen since I was 10.
He put me on the particular path to
and
be
Dr.
a successful.
Dre.
All right. I didn't put these in any particular order.
I didn't either. I just wrote them down.
Do you just want to go one for one down? And if we run into something that I have 14.
Well, I don't have that many. I've got 7, but I can't really say 2 because then it might give away something on my top list. So
okay, well then hold them.
Let me tell you mine.
Sure.
And if you have the same one, you can chime in.
Okay.
So the Barrel Foundation, the 5-year one on there.
It's not on my honorable mentions.
Okay. I thought that was great. It didn't break my top 10, but I enjoyed it.
I did have Barrel 35. Barrel Bourbon 35 on my honorable mentions.
All right. Then I have the that I can say I had the 3rd edition of this year's Bookers.
I had that.
I thought that was great. I was so glad to get to try all the Bookers, and that if you see Booker's 2023 3 whatever, what was it called? You remember?
Mighty Fine Batch.
Granny's Mighty Fine Batch or whatever it was. It's always great. I always think of Granny's Batch. Granny's Biscuits or whatever. That Booker's was great. Then the Wilderness Trail 7-year rye.
That was on mine as well.
So good. I kind of mentioned this before, but the Lawrenceburg Bourbon Company, the rye 10 by 10, so good. Glad I got a bottle of that. And then there's like a couple of other ones, but I can't really say them because then it will be a spoiler alert for what I put on my top 10. So I'm going to stop there.
Okay. I've got maybe one. I've got one that is a spoiler. So I will leave that out.
Okay.
And I'll just go over the ones that you didn't name already. I bet you forgot about this one.
Oh, boy.
The Nelson Brothers 15-year rye.
Fuck. I did forget about that.
I wanted so badly to put that in my top 10, but it was so unbelievably limited.
Yeah.
That I couldn't justify
God, I forgot
it.
about that bottle.
But it was I fell in love with that so easily.
Oh, I forgot about that. So good. Yeah, that one's like you got to be in Tennessee standing in line for that.
I debated on this one. This was one of the ones that really got down to what did I feel like deserved a top 10 spot.
Yeah.
And as much as I loved this bottle, I didn't think it quite met the cut the way that others did. Master's Keep Voyage.
Okay. I don't like that bottle though.
Yeah. No, I do too. That's why
it's a good one.
Yeah. The James Pepper decanter.
Okay.
Which I know you didn't care for that much.
Yeah, it wasn't bad, but it wasn't anything special.
Yeah. I just kind of keep going back to it and finding that I really, really enjoy it. So, honorable mention. William LaRue Weller.
Okay.
I thought it was good. I wish it had been just a little bit better. That's just me.
Okay.
Okay. A couple of New Riff products. The Sour Mash Single Malt. That like cast strength.
Yeah.
Which I absolutely loved. Just, again, other things I wanted a little bit little bit more, and the blue Claridge as well. That particular corn mash bill.
I can't remember what I said about the blue and the yellow.
The blue was better than the yellow.
Yeah.
And having gone back and tried them side by side, can confirm that is the case. This one came out of left field for me, and I'm gonna include it in my honorable mentions because it's pretty much available nationwide, but only at one particular store, and it's the Wolcott Rickhouse Reserve.
Oh, is that at Total Wine?
Yeah, it's the Barton distillate. Yeah, I freaking love that bottle, man. I'm out. I need to go back and get another one. I got to skip that one because it spoils my top 10. My next and last honorable mention. Oh, I can't believe I'm about to say this.
Oh, God.
The Willet 8-year.
That was this year?
Yeah.
I thought it was last year.
No, it was this year. Oh, no, that was last year.
I was going to say.
I'm sorry. Okay, well, that wasn't I apologize. I thought that was last year for some reason.
He likes Willet.
I like that release of Willet.
You like Willet.
Maybe a little bit.
You've had
Shut up.
That is a good bottle, though.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
You
yeah.
know, I will say I love the bottle, but the only bad thing is I don't know how much is left.
That's fair.
I mean, how much would you
It sounds about like half a bottle. Maybe a little bit more than half.
I don't know.
Show me your secrets, dark spirits. I'm sorry. I thought that one came out this year.
This is my favorite part of this.
I had to bring it back up, apparently.
Yeah. I'm not an idiot.
Uh-oh. Anyway, it's top 10 time.
Oh, baby.
Here we go. This is our top 10 bourbons.
Top 10 of David Letterman.
2023.
Top 10 bourbons of 20.
Number 10 for you, Mr. Eric the Whiskey Mutant.
Number 10 was a wheated bourbon that I highly enjoy. That I've been through one bottle, and now I've started on the second. The Bardstown Bourbon Company. Origins. The Black Label. The wheated bourbon is my number 10 of last year or whatever year it is. So good.
2023.
So good.
Yeah.
One of my favorite Bardstown Bourbon Company products ever.
Now, I also want to say this. Until we get to, I would say maybe our top 2 or 3, I don't want us to jump ahead and say we also had those on our list.
Okay, that's fine.
So.
You just gave away something.
Well, maybe, but
I know.
I'm just trying to take,
That bottle to me, so good. Like, it was like the second half, the top half of my list and the bottom half of my list were back and forth for the last couple of days. What am I going to do? What am I going to do? I was smelling stuff. I was taking little nips of things here and there that I actually had. Some stuff I didn't have. And
sorry.
No, you're fine. Hope you enjoy it, Papa Ritter. But yes, this bottle is so good. It's available. You can go pick it up, at least around here.
For sure.
It. It's so good. Bardstown Bourbon Company, Origins, the Black Label, the wheated. Love it.
Yeah. Number 10 for me is Barrel Foundation.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That was pretty much my top honorable mention.
Yeah. I think here's where I kind of like hit a bit of a roadblock with my top 10s. I always try to consider what are some of the wide releases that come out, right? And things that are going to be regularly available, moving forward. Barrel Foundation, as we said in our review, not only is a prime example of how good of blenders they are at barrel, it's just a solid pour that can hold up in just about any scenario, I think.
Yeah.
So I'm a big fan of it. For what, $50?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
you can't go wrong with it. So
it was good.
Yeah. Do you want me to go next?
Sure.
Number 9, Fortuna Barrel Proof.
Oh,
I really loved it, dude. I know that it wasn't for you, but
I
every
never
time
said it was bad. I just said it didn't
Yeah.
hit. But I will say I didn't try any of the other batches. I'm not gonna.
Well, I'll specifically say batch 3 then,
There you go.
because that was the one that we got to. Oh no, it was batch 4. Yeah, batch 4. I just fell in love with it
Try it there if you want.
immediately. I would actually like a little bit of it if you don't mind.
Sure.
It's been a little bit since I've had any, but you know, I don't mean to introduce any like nepotism bias, but it is still so cool to know the person that made that.
Well, of course. Like I can come out of mutant
mode
for a second and say I'm so proud of Chad and everything he does. Please don't clip that,
dude. That's
probably the main reason I was 100% honest, because I know he would be 100% honest with me if I did something. And we've talked about things like maybe like videos or anything I made, and he's always 100% honest with me. And that batch to me just wasn't what hit me, and I wanted to be clear, like, and the fact that it wasn't bad, but it just didn't like hit me like I think it hit some other people.
Didn't speak to you.
Yeah. And I'm always going to be 100% honest with Chad, but I am proud of him for everything he does at Rare Character. And that's all. I'm back to mutant. Suck it, Chad.
Fair enough. What's your number 9?
Number 9 for me, 2XO, the Tribute Blend.
Yes. Incredible bourbon.
I thought, so we had the Phoenix blend, then we had the Innkeeper's blend. Perry mentioned that. You put that on your honors, right? Or something you drank. Pretty sure you said it once already. You said it a second ago. Innkeepers.
I said
or
that
you killed a bottle.
We killed that bottle.
Yes.
Yeah.
But the Tribute blend to me was like the best of everything.
Yeah.
I haven't got to try one of the single barrels of Jim, but you know, there's like 70 single barrels, and I will eventually get one. But right now
they're expensive too.
Yeah, they're expensive. But right now with 2XO, the blending and all that, Dixon hit it out of the park with this one. To me, it just felt like it was like I was drinking exactly like how he explained it, with this is a tribute to like everybody in the past and all that. And it just was like a mixture of like a little bit of funk and dusty, but like a mix of his, you know, Kentucky Owl stuff. And I just love that bottle so much.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was my number 9.
What's your number 8?
Number 8 for me was another wheated bourbon from Wilderness Trail. And it was the 8-year wheated Wilderness Trail. It's just solid. Like, I mean, I feel like we did like the rye bourbon more.
We did.
But it still was, I was struggling to put it, there's a spam risk on me. I was struggling putting it closer down, everything. Either way, it's top 10, the 8-year Wilderness Trail wheated, number 8.
As much as I enjoyed that bottle, it didn't quite make the cut for me. I'll go ahead and say that.
That's fine.
But I do very much enjoy that. However, at number 8, and I'm probably cheating a little bit with this one, but it's my list. Shut up. Just shut up.
It's his list. He edits this. He can make anybody say whatever they want.
Yeah.
Just say it.
I'm actually lumping both the wheated and the rye Bardstown Bourbon Company Origin releases into my number 8. Again, a company that has been around for a little while, but hasn't really gotten the chance to shine in terms of what they make, showing up in such a strong fashion this year. Both of those releases are spectacular. And if you have any doubt about Bardstown Bourbon Company and what they do, especially with some of their more higher end products, the Origin series is solid across the board.
Yeah.
Even their rye as well. The rye I didn't include in my top 10, but I do think the wheated and the rye are spectacular. My number 7 is the 2XO Tribute Blend.
Okay. There we go. There we go.
I friggin' love that bottle. I have loved everything that I have had from 2XO so far. I know that it kind of got as much as I love Dixon, I'm willing to admit that the Phoenix Blend was not exactly what I wanted it to be right out of the gate. I still really enjoyed it, but it was just like it kept getting better and better and better, which is crazy for somebody like Dixon, who is already an experienced blender. But, it's a new project. You're finding your feet. You're trying to get in the right headset. That's a new one. Ballhouse and headset.
Trying to get in the right headset.
Yeah, the right mindset.
Can't hear you. What?
Mindspace is the flip side of headset. Anyway, whatever. Trying to get in the right headspace to create a new product.
So good.
And I truly do think that the Tribute Blend is the best one that they have done yet. So
there you go.
I dig it. What's your number 7?
Number 7. I'm getting down to the nitty gritty. I was struggling with
this. This is where I redid it about 18 times.
Number 7, Elijah Craig Barrel Proof C923.
Okay.
I felt like B was my honorable mention. I couldn't give it away. B 523 was an honorable mention because I know everybody was, oh no, they're taking away 12 years, blah blah blah.
Yeah, but
it ended up being one of the best ECBPs in a while. But it still wasn't like there was still something there that I was like, where's it at? And then the 13
year
comes out. And I'm like, we're back, baby.
Yeah.
It is so good. And I struggled with, it could have gone it could have gone up 3 more places, but I stuck to my guns, said it, but I love that. C923.
You know what's funny? The other day I was thinking about how close we are to the A batches coming out.
Yeah.
And I had a dream the other night that the A124 was another 13-year-old.
Oh, shit. Let's see if it happens.
That's when you've been thinking about bourbon too long. It's when you start dreaming about it.
You're thinking about different batches of one of your favorite bourbons.
Yeah. So that was your number 7?
7.
Right?
Yeah.
What's your number 6 then?
Larceny.
B523? Interesting. Okay.
Yes, and I struggled. I went back and forth, but I felt like that was one of the ones that we text each other the most about. You got another bottle. I was looking for a bottle. That's the best Larceny barrel proof that they have ever had.
Yeah.
And it's something special. And it was still, I don't know, something just nudged it over the Elijah Craig barrel proof for me. So, yes, that's 7 and 6.
Well, number 6 for me, this is the only rye in my top 10. I almost considered doing
what was your 7?
2XO.
Oh, I thought that was 8. Okay.
No. I almost considered doing, I didn't have enough for a top 10 ryes. I thought about doing a top 5. But this is the only one in my best bourbon. If I were to cut this out, my number 10, if it were just bourbon, probably would have been Master's Keep Voyage.
Yeah.
I mean, it was so close. That was the one I really debated with, does this belong here?
Yeah.
And I just didn't think it did.
Okay.
And as far as the best rye that I had this year, I think Rye Batch 4 from Barrel was top notch.
Yeah.
Out of this world.
It was good.
Yeah. Number 5. Would you like to drink my number 5?
Would you like to drink my number 5?
Do you want to just drink each other's number? This sounds weird.
Who's going first? Well, you're going first.
Jack Daniel's 12 year.
Oh, shit.
This was a sleeper hit for me. And when I went back and got it, so I think I said this at least on Patreon, but a couple weeks ago, I went back to my grandparents' house. I still have a bunch of boxes of bourbon that are there. And I was trying to get a small little grouping of bottles together to bring home for the holidays. And in one of those boxes was the Jack 12. And I was like, oh, I forgot, I had this and forgot how much I liked it. And then we had it last week together for our Christmas. And it absolutely floored me. This is a $70, 12-year-old, 107 proof bourbon. I'll say it, bourbon. That is incredible. I absolutely love this pour. The reason one of the the one that I had to cut out as an honorable mention was the Jack 10.
What?
Oh, are you getting? Never mind. Anyway, I thought
I wanted to. I don't have the bottle.
Oh, okay. That's not your number 5?
No.
Okay. Well, that's fine.
You'll understand everything that's happening here in a second.
Yeah, I know.
No, I wish that I was. Just keep going.
Yeah. No, I this is when I start to get a little bit more poetic, I guess. But yes, this is more of a limited release, but I think this will convince any Kentucky bourbon diehard that Jack Daniel's has something worth noting.
It's freaking amazing.
It's unbelievable whiskey.
You gonna drink my 5?
It's fruity. Yes, it's
right,
fruity.
I'll go
It's
get
spicy. It's Carol. You have to go get it.
It's over here.
Oh, okay.
It's good.
I'll look away. I don't want to ruin the surprise for myself, I suppose. I like your one note. It's good. Whatever your number 5 is. Can I turn around now?
I'm gonna pour it for you.
Oh,
See if
okay.
you can guess it.
Oh, okay.
Mid-show blind.
I love this. This is completely different from what we normally do.
That's how we do it. Yeah, this will all make sense in a second. But God, this is something that I was so disappointed that I never found. Pissing me off. So I will 100% stand by this on your top. So my 5, which I just blinded you with.
Is that the Master's Keep Voyage?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
You got it.
Dadgum, dude. Oh, that's so good.
Master Keep Voyage. This was right around the time that I started getting sick of it of finished whiskeys. But this thing, I mean, it's so good, dude. Wild Turkey finished in Jamaican rum cask. It was like 10 years old, something like that.
Yeah.
I love this bottle, and I had to put it in my top 10, my top 5.
Yeah.
I
get it.
Going to number 4 was Jack Daniel's 10-year.
Oh, okay.
Because I like the 10-year more than the 12-year.
I know you did. So the 12 was in your honorable mentions?
The 12 was my honorable mentions, and the 10 was my number 4 whiskey. And yes, I would have loved to have pulled out the Jack 10 and poured it for you. But I don't have it, and I was mad.
I'm sorry.
I was mad the whole season that this came out that I did not get the 10. I was so mad. I kept asking, can you get the Jack 10 for me? Like, I go to Ernie's and be like, they're like,
Yeah.
well, we're asking. And then I would see in them texts like, hey, if you got any Jack 10, like, we'll take. And
Give us a case.
I had to go back and listen to our review when we did the reviews of them. And
I remember.
Because I was like, I know I like the Jack 10 more. I didn't have any of the Jack 10. And when I listened, I was like, yes, the Jack 10. It's, if you talk about them together, they're just phenomenal.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you put 12 in the top 5. I put 10 in the top, my 4th. They're just special.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Voyage, number 5 for me. I just love this. And then Jack 10 was number 4.
Yeah. So. My number 4. Elijah Craig Barrel Proof C923. You know I'm a sucker for Elijah Craig Barrel Proof.
I know you are.
Once you get into that 12 to 15-year-old age range for Heaven Hill products. Yeah. I mean, my best of last year was a blend of 13 and 15-year-old Heaven Hill bourbon.
Yeah.
And this was so reminiscent of that.
Yeah.
I wish that it had been, I can't believe I'm saying this about a 13-year-old bourbon. I wish it had been just a little bit oakier. I just needed something slightly more.
Yeah.
And that was what it was. That being said, this is the first time since A120 that an Elijah Craig Barrel Proof has made my top 10. Oh, apparently in 2021, Elijah Craig Barrel Proof was my number 5, the A121.
Oh.
I don't even remember that. I don't remember that batch.
You drink a lot of whiskey since then, brother.
That's very true. But yeah, last year definitely didn't have a Yeah, last year didn't have an Elijah Craig Barrel Proof. So this year though, number 4.
This year it does.
Number 3 for me.
You got it with you?
You can look. I mean, Knob Creek 18, man. This bottle blew me away when we tried it. It felt like I was getting the chance to drink bourbon from my dreams. And bourbon that I had long since forgotten and finally returned. Knob Creek 18 is such a beautiful whiskey. I have to get a bottle. I really do. Anyway,
I feel like it probably out of our top bottles, it's maybe we still have a chance to get one.
Mm-hmm.
That was your 3?
That was my 3.
My number 3 was something I won't be able to get.
Oh, no.
It's this year's WLW.
Wow.
I know you put it in your honors.
Yeah.
But you know.
I know.
How much I love my weeded barrel strength.
You're a weeder
bourbon.
boy.
And it was something special,
little weedy boy.
And I can't even talk about it that much because it's BTAC, like, and maybe somebody sends me samples or whatever. I don't know. Maybe I look out in a Fireball or something. I can't get it. My number 2, though, I'm getting ready to drink because it was Knob Creek 18.
Creek 18.
Yes.
Yeah.
This bottle coming in hot at the end.
It did so much legwork at the very end of the year.
I'm going to be 100% honest and say, when I started seeing people post about this, when it came out, I didn't give it enough credit. I was like, whatever. Like, it's, we've got the 12, we've got the 15. It's just going to be another Knob Creek that we would say, I wish this was barrel strength.
Yeah.
And I 100% can say I love this just the way it is, and it is one of the most special tasting whiskeys of the year. It's got age. It's got like a little bit.
It's got enough proof.
It's got enough proof. It's got a little bit of funk. It's got smoothness. Like, it's what you would think bourbon would be.
Yeah.
Like, number 2 right here. Knob Creek 18-year. It's special. It's special. I love it. If you see it, get it. I would have bought a bottle if it wasn't Christmas time and I had to buy Christmas presents.
Yeah.
Because I saw it. But it's definitely worth the money. If next paycheck, if I see one, I'm getting it.
I spent a lot of time with my number 2 and my number 1.
I did too.
I spent so much time that even right now, I'm debating on whether I made the right choice. But there's a good reason that my number 1 is the number 1 and my number 2 is my number 2. While number 2 might be the best bourbon I had this year, number 1 is the best bourbon that I was able to get multiple bottles of. And every time that I drank it,
I know where
I know
where this is going.
I felt like this is what bourbon is supposed to be. And it was also the culmination of years of being let down and frustrated, only to have 2023 bring on the best version of this bourbon. So, I think my number 2 is your number 1.
Probably. I think I know.
Okay. My number 2 is the Four Roses 135th Anniversary Small Batch LE.
Spoiler alert. My number 1, I didn't have it. Perry knew that it was my number 1. He didn't even have to say it because I texted him. And
I knew it. I knew
said,
it would
do we
be.
have any of that left? And we did not. And I went back and I tried some last night. I went back and I tried a few of just the LEs, and I listened to our episode, and I just fast forwarded to the review, and it's just year after year, the Four Roses LE to me is just special. They just do it right, and that's why I put it number 1, because it's so consistent, and this year's did not disappoint. And yes, I'll hand it over to Perry to finish out the list, but the Four Roses this year, the 135th, was by far my favorite whiskey of the year.
And I wanted so badly to put it at number 1. But again, I have to consider the things that are more readily available. And if anything, they were tied for number 1.
Yeah.
But aside from my daily drinkers,
I knew it when you said you have got this bottle multiple times.
Larceny Barrel Proof C923 has hands down been not only my favorite from this year, but the bottle that has surprised me the most.
Yeah.
And yeah, we're going to open it right now. I again am like, should I have named the Four Roses my number 1?
But it's all about what you think. Like, it doesn't have to be like, to me, when you make a list like this, like, you can either make a list and just, you want to make a list for clickbait and you want to just throw out names and you want to get people to like it and say, this tasted better than this. Or you can put together a list that means something to you, that maybe the moment, maybe, like Perry said, he could get this. It was so special, and he can get multiple bottles of it. Like, I'm 100% behind you on this. not because our list synced up, but just because you chose it for that reason.
Yeah. Even at, 6 to 8 years old.
Huh.
There truly is something special about this one. Whether it's more 8 than 6 year, whether, they changed up the blending process or what have you, I will constantly go back to this.
This bottle was, I put
oh my gosh.
I put the 523 on my list because I do think I liked it a little bit more, but this was on my honorable because I was going back and forth on which one I wanted to put in there. And I did go towards the May batch, but this is legit. Like you said,
and,
you got multiples of this.
And I've gone back and I tried the B against the C.
Mm.
And the C won every single time that I tried them side by side. I've got like 2 ounces in my B bottle left because I tried them side by side so much. And that was another honorable mention that I couldn't.
26 proof wheated whiskey.
Yeah.
Or wheated bourbon. That's crazy.
But I that was another honorable mention I couldn't bring up was the B523 because if I did, it would have ruined.
I've been like, oh, that's on your top 10.
It would have completely ruined
That's amazing.
my number one. But
we synced up a lot on this list.
You want to know the crazy thing about this?
What?
I bought this bottle yesterday.
Where?
Near my house.
What?
Yeah.
Damn.
And I'm really sorry. I was gonna buy because the last time I was in there they had 2. I was gonna buy one for each of us, but they only had the one left.
It's
and like,
time.
and I even talked to the store manager, and I was like, I've got to get this. It's my favorite bourbon that came out this year. He was like, I'm sorry, man. This is the only one I have left. I was like, I totally understand. I get it.
So good. And the B batch and the C batch were very similar. Mm-hmm. And I just happen to like the B more, but like they are definitely in the same family. That's a hitter, man. And I would pour my number one, but
sorry,
we don't have it.
Sorry.
It's not your fault. You shared it with a special person.
My dad.
Dad. I am surprised at how we constantly like have different opinions, but we always align. Somehow.
We're so similar
Stuff
in so many ways.
Syncs up. Oh, that's good.
Well, the thing is, I mean, at no point have I ever said I dislike wheated bourbon.
No.
It's just I prefer high rye.
Right.
And in this instance, the best bourbon this year for me wound up being wheated.
It's good.
And is it easy to name a batch of bourbon that has, maybe not easy, but is it more expected to name a batch of bourbon that has 25-year-old product in it?
Yeah.
Your best of the year? Yeah, absolutely. And I wanted to so badly. But at its
it smells good.
Insanely limited availability, I just couldn't bring myself to name it best of over this bottle.
Yeah, no, I get it.
Now, I don't remember exactly, but multiple years, Heaven Hill has won my best bourbon of the year. Last year with the double barrel blend, C918 won before as well. So I guess Elijah Craig C918.
Didn't the Heaven Hill 17 or whatever it was?
No, I don't even know if that made it into my top 10 that year. That might have just been an honorable mention for me. But regardless,
that's good. Hey,
what are you gonna do? If you see this and you don't want it, buy one for one of us.
If you see the Four Roses 135th,
Also buy it for one of us.
yes, we will share it and we will enjoy it. No, that's fine. That's a good list.
Yeah, I'm really happy with this year's list. Despite what some people might say, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, Fred Minnick.
What'd Fred say?
He said it wasn't a good year for bourbon. I thought it was a great year for bourbon.
It's my fault.
Yeah, you ruined everything, and I'm sick of it.
I made fun of him on Halloween. I ruined his day.
You ruined everything.
I ruined it all.
No, I think that this was a spectacular year for bourbon. It's not my favorite year on record, but I do think that there were some very memorable releases that made their way out. But
I mean, there's literally bourbons and whiskeys on our list that we cannot even get that are special and all that. So I don't know. I don't think it was bad.
no, not at all.
I mean, we got yelled at a lot. But
Yeah.
that doesn't have anything against these people. So either way, I'm coming for you next Halloween, Fred. Derek is coming for you. Are you gonna set this up?
What do you mean?
Us and Fred. So,
Oh yeah, 100%.
I want to have a drink poured, and I want to us talk about everything, and I want to say, remember that time at Bourbon and Beyond, Fred? Remember that?
It's gonna happen, dude.
Well, 2024 is the year.
Yeah. I like as well, by the way, that I'm looking in front of me and 3 of my top 5 are poured into Glencairns.
Yeah, I've got 3 glasses and they're all your top 5.
I mean, that's
One of them's mine. 2 of mine. 2 of my top 5 are on there. So
that's wild.
it's crazy.
Yeah. So overall, how do you feel about your top 10?
I feel good. I'm glad that between the two of us, we are able to.
We had a good variety, I feel like.
We had a good variety. We synced up pretty good, and we have a few or more of stuff that was on our top 10.
Yeah,
there are things that we don't have any left.
That's true.
But that's just how it goes. But I'm happy. Like, I think it's a solid top 10. I mean, I don't want to have a top 10 that's like everybody else's. I've seen stuff on everybody else's, but I'm happy. If I had those 10 bottles in front of me, I wouldn't have any problem with it. I would have no problem.
Earlier this year we were talking by earlier this year, it was like a few weeks ago. Pretty much it's what it feels like. We were talking about if we had to restart our bourbon collection, what would we do with our first 10 bottles? And, I miss on this one, like having a turkey product. I'd want something a little bit higher proof, like a Knob Creek pick, but I really don't have any problem with the other things that were on there.
If you dip into the honors and then go into the top 10, you can make a solid full whiskey collection.
Oh yeah, 100%. That being said, though, while we compare these two batches of Larceny Barrel Proof, the A120 and the C923, we are going to move into Barrel Rings. Oh. That is our segment that you can become a part of the show at. Sure. If you leave a voicemail or send a message to 859-428-8253. 859-428-8253. You can text, you can leave a voicemail, call it. You know what we should do before we get out of here for the next Barrel Rings? We should record our voice message.
A voicemail?
Yeah. So people know that when they're calling Barrel Rings, it's us.
Okay. Let's do it.
So anyway,
right.
This person just kind of knew that it was us. It's Jared, and he left a nifty little...
We know Jared.
We do. He left a voicemail for us.
Hey, what's up, guys? It's Jared, or G Money, as you referred to me in the Sample Irresistible thing, which I don't know how I feel about. Kind of like it, but mostly don't. But it is what it is. I want to apologize for those KO and Cedar Ridge samples. I must have pulled some bad sample bottles, because those are not the notes
How many
that you should have
sample
gotten.
bottles
That
do you
KO
have?
is phenomenal. That's a 6-year MGP in a Kelvin barrel. It's nothing but dark brown sugar and toasted caramel. It's nothing but dark, glorious notes. So I'm going to have to send you a new one as an apology or something. The Cedar Ridge, however, it just tasted like someone spread Red Hots on a graham cracker.
Oh.
Those are the notes. I was hoping you guys would also pick up on that.
Graham cracker.
Here we are. So I'll have to resend those. That's my bad. Though I am glad to know that Derek has another Texas whiskey that he actually likes. Maybe he can drop his prejudice. But with that,
I ain't dropping shit.
This is being recorded before, but I want to wish everyone a Merry Christmas. Hopefully everyone has safe travels and good times with their family. Obviously by the time this airs, it'll be
Good
well
times.
After.
Good
Probably
times.
Happy New Year,
Jared
so
likes good
everyone,
times. Confirmed.
Happy New Year, and is off to a good 2024. So with that, hope you guys are doing well, and I will talk to you next year. See ya.
Yay.
Well, Jared, you already talked to us in the new year, but, what he is referring to is we did a Samply Irresistible for the Patreon, patreon.com/my Bourbon Podcast.
There's a lot of months. You can support the show, and if $5 much, you get all the bonus content.
Where we drank through a couple of samples that he sent us.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I would be willing to admit that was not the result that he was hoping he would get.
He knew what he was doing, though.
He did, but
Well,
I
wanna
don't
know
I
how
think
many sample bottles he has. He said that must have been a bad sample bottle.
well, I think what happened was he didn't clean it out well enough.
I think he sent us the wrong thing.
Good enough? I don't know.
I think he sent us something totally wrong. Get a bar and batch 1 through 5.
It's possible. I don't know.
Tried to trick me with some Texas whiskey.
That being said, though, if you also want to send us samples, whatever, you can send them to P.O. Box 22609, Lexington, Kentucky 40522. That address is also in the description below. We're always happy to get some...
Take hats.
Sure, whatever.
Take some hats.
Whatever.
Take some
Bottles.
shirts. Some snacks.
Some...
anything you can put in a box.
As long as it's...
Anything you can put in a box.
Please don't be a rat.
Dick in a box. What's in a box?
But yeah, I'm okay with trying those again because I do feel like something was a little bit awry.
If he sends the same ones, I'm not trying them.
No, that's the point. He's sending those same samples because he thinks the sample bottles were tainted.
No, he's just trying to trick us.
Okay. Well, I will accept.
I mean, I'll drink them. I'll drink them.
It really sounds like you won't.
You're not going to make me like them.
Really sounds like you're not going to like them at all. Or maybe even drink them.
Well, we'll see.
Okay.
We'll see. We'll see.
High proof hot takes. Anything that's been grinding your gears, busting your balls, making you feel a little bit crazy recently.
I feel like I'm a broken record, but I got to show you this. I mean, I talk about old people all the time, right? Oh, also, if I thought about getting this if Eden ever comes back over to the house.
I need to get it. It's out on Switch, too.
Okay.
Yeah. Might use a little bit of Christmas money to get Bluey the video game.
My kids are out of control. Okay,
and that's just 2 out of the 3.
I guess I'll delete it. I took a video of some old people in the parking lot the other day that it was out of control. It was kind of out of control. Yeah, I'll delete it. They were going down the aisle in the middle.
Stopping in the middle, too?
Stopping in the middle.
Yeah.
One went one way, one went the other, and they realized they were on the wrong sides. One of them had parked on this side, one of them parked on this side, and then they crossed again. So they were doing a figure eight in the middle of the parking lot, talking to each other.
Wait, parking lot or grocery aisle?
Parking lot grocery.
Jeez.
The parking lot of Kroger. Learn to park, old people. Learn to drive your buggy down the aisle of the parking lot aisle.
Yeah.
Just do pickup. Just learn how to get on the app. Just
don't do the thing that you have been doing.
Just learn how to get on the app and do.
That's really funny. That's a really funny piece of advice.
So that's my hot proof hot takes. It's just I've had a good week. It's been a fun holiday. I've enjoyed going through all these whiskeys with you. I enjoyed our I will say a hot proof hot take. Healthcare schedules work don't always go as planned. So that's all I will say about that.
Definitely not reflective on something that happened while we were recording.
Multiple things.
Just,
But all in all, that was it. My same old, my top 2023 hot take of the year. Old people just not doing things
not
the
great.
way they're supposed to.
Not great, but that's okay. I don't really have a high proof hot take today. I want to start the year off on a positive note.
I will say larceny A120 still not good.
It's bad. Like it's not good. It's super corny.
Maybe that's why we didn't open it.
It's medicinal.
Maybe we said, "Hey,"
but you weren't even on the podcast at that point.
Yeah, I was
in 2020.
Yeah,
no, you weren't.
Yeah, I was.
You started in 2021.
I was here.
You are coming up on your third year of the
podcast.
No,
I was the podcast.
You were the podcast, maybe.
I was the
in
podcast.
Your dreams.
I was the podcast.
You weren't on the show yet.
Yeah, I was.
All right.
I don't know. I'm just saying, maybe
it's like cherry cough syrup and corn.
That's probably why I haven't opened it, because it wasn't good.
Because we probably said that on the show.
Yeah.
That's okay. Yeah, that's how it goes. C923 though.
Yeah, I get it.
Mm-hmm.
Or B523.
Yeah. Oh,
Get
either
that.
or. If you see them, get them. Tips and bits. It's our first tips and bits of 2024.
Oh.
It's a segment where we recommend things that you should be watching, you should be listening to, you should be checking out. I forgot. That was what I forgot for the pregame chats was our best of things that we enjoyed that were not bourbon in 2023.
Hey, we can do that next week. We're going to do a dry episode. We could do the best things that weren't bourbon on the pregame chat.
Yeah, let's do that.
So join the Patreon. Patreon.com/MyBourbonPodcast. For as little as $1 a month, you can support the show. But at $5, you get all the bonus content. And you can hear that. The pregame chats.
Yeah, the show's not over yet. That's normally how he ends an episode. But we'll...
We're trying to get new people in. Come on.
Yeah.
Join the family.
So what have you been enjoying over the past few weeks that you want to recommend to people?
I won't give too many spoilers because we've already mentioned it before, but... I have been watching What If.
I have too.
On Disney Plus.
Today's episode was the best of the season.
I've not watched that one. That's why I'm going to say I haven't watched it. But you should watch it, and then we'll talk about it. But I love that show. I told Perry before we even started recording, we were setting up, that I wish that there was more of a What If, like other like franchises, like a Star Wars What If and stuff like that. Even like a Mickey Mouse What If. Like, what if Goofy and Minnie got together?
Ooh.
You know what I mean? But, no, seriously, like a Star Wars What If would be amazing.
Yeah.
So I'm watching that. I also mentioned before, I had a little notification. Jujutsu Kaisen, if you're into anime or if you want to start an anime, it's so good. I've said it before on here, but like the second season is getting ready to end. And it has some of the best, I mean, we're talking like through the years, like Dragon Ball Z, Naruto, Attack on Titan, all this stuff. Like some of the best fights ever. And they're just like, this fight lasted 3 episodes. Well, you're still going to get that, okay?
Yeah.
Because that's what we do.
That's anime.
That's anime.
What do you want? That's how anime goes.
But Jujutsu Kaisen.
Sorry.
Yes, it's like if you took like exorcists, like people who exorcise like spirits and ghosts when people die, but you gave them powers, and then the good people were trying to do good things and exorcise the bad like spirits and stuff, but then there were bad guys who were like, let's let the spirits go free and let's like rule the world, and they fought each other. That's what you would get, and you would get some of the best fight scenes ever. So start out 2024 with an anime and watch Jujutsu Kaisen.
Speaking of ghosts,
Ooh.
I have been watching my new favorite ghost hunting show,
Oh, Lord.
which is actually on YouTube for free. It is the most taking the piss out of ghost hunting show ever. Have you ever seen Watcher?
Yeah.
So they have it's called Ghost Files.
Okay.
They've done 2 seasons so far. The very first episode was at Waverly Hospital in Louisville.
Oh. You know, I went to a new metal concert there.
Did you really?
They set up the stage behind Waverly, and then you could also sign up to go do thing. And so there's like, and then like the Waverly Hills is in the background.
Oh my gosh.
Freaking amazing.
I love that.
Yeah.
I absolutely love Ryan and Shane. I think they're so funny. But this show, for anybody who doesn't like ghost hunting shows because they're overly dramatic, this is the show for you, because there are things that happen, but they don't make a whole big deal out of it. And I think it's the best middle ground between people who are skeptics and those who are hardcore believers in ghosts. They're fairly easy watches. I mean, each episode is like an hour long, but I blew through it over a few days.
That sounds fun.
Really, really enjoyed it. Still working on Arkham City.
Getting through those graphics.
Well, Arkham City is the good one. Arkham Knight is the one that is unplayable.
Okay.
I have given up on Arkham Knight. I opened it that one time and I wanted to throw up trying to drive the Batmobile, and I moved on from there. Yeah, Arkham City is so much fun. As soon as I got done with the game, so the Switch version, when you finish the game, it automatically unlocks all of the different skins. So I've just been playing in the Batman Inc. Suit. No, it's fine. That was fun to watch.
You watched the whole thing.
I did, yeah. It was good. Anyway, I had a whole lot of fun with it.
So what's your next big game? What are you looking forward to in 2024? Video game wise.
I don't know, because I feel like the Switch has finally entered its twilight era. And
Time for something new.
I don't think there's anything that's on aside from, okay, you know what I'm most excited for? It's a remake of Paper Mario Thousand Year Door, which was the best Paper Mario game. It came out on GameCube.
Yep.
Always loved it. And I have not played it in well over a decade because I haven't had the accessibility to do so. But to be able to play it on Switch, I'm very, very excited for. But I don't think that there's anything that's coming out. I think that Super Mario Brothers Wonder, whatever, was the last kind of hurrah.
Do you think we get Odyssey 2 with a new system?
I think what's going to happen is we are going to get Super Mario Odyssey 2 as the bridge between the gap of Switch and whatever Switch 2 is, if that is what they're calling it. In the same way that they did with Mario Kart 8, with Breath of the Wild. just so like it's kind of accessible to the people who already have the Switch, but those who are ready to move on to the next console. So I am ready for whatever's next with the Switch, but I will say my Switch is my most played video game console ever. It's my favorite video game console I've ever played. I'm not saying that it's the best one that's come out, but it's definitely been the one that I have had the most enjoyment from.
What about PlayStation 5 Spider-Man?
Well, that made me want to kill myself. So I beat up a homeless man. I swung backwards. I felt like I wanted to die.
My top 10 highlights of 2023. Harry playing Spider-Man 2 on PlayStation 5.
But like now that I've gone and I've played the Arkham games, I feel like I'm better prepared for something like Spider-Man on PS4 or 5, whatever. So that's
what
fine.
time you got to leave? Because we could probably see how you do.
We could. Yeah, we could do a little bit.
I need at least 5 minutes of you playing.
Oh, 100%.
Okay.
Yeah. You can film me for Patreon.
Okay.
Well, but yeah. All right. Great. But the other thing that I wanted to bring up, and I'm sorry this episode has gone so long, but
it's the new year.
It's the new year. Sorry. I can't go any further without mentioning the 4 Doctor Who 60th anniversary specials that came. Doctor Who.
Oh, okay.
Correct. Anyway, so there were 4 specials that came out in 2023 in celebration of the 60th anniversary of Doctor Who. One of my favorite shows of all time. And I don't know the best way to go about talking about these other than if you are trying to find a way to get into Doctor Who, the Christmas special is probably the best jumping off point right now. Otherwise, you're going to be incredibly confused. What would you just? Oh, not Greek 18. Yeah. Sorry. No, it's okay.
I just saw that it was still in my glass. And I was like, oh, I gotta get this.
This is like the next generation of Doctor Who. And I'm so unbelievably excited for it. There are things in motion that are going to make it accessible for a lot of people, I think. But also, it's kind of a dirty word for people.
Cunt.
You thought I was gonna bleep that. Guess what? It's the new year. You get 3 per year.
3 per year.
Okay.
Okay.
You used your first one.
Okay. Marking it down.
Wow.
What?
Okay. Nothing. I just wasn't expecting that to be a caveat that we had this year. So that was your first one for the year.
Wait till the meetup.
You're gonna use like 4 years in advance of.
We'll see. Depends on who pisses me off.
Anyway, if what was I gonna say? It can feel a little bit inclusive for people. So if that's something that if you think that things that are inclusive are woke and that bothers you, might not be for you.
If you're not woke, then get
but it's really good. I
watch it and just figure it out yourself.
You know what? It's the same thing with Star Wars. If you want crusty old white men, go watch the old episodes.
Yeah.
They're available.
If you
But
want
at the same
hot
time-
Ray running around digging up lightsabers, watch the new stuff.
I don't know what to tell you, dear. I drop my lightsabers in the desert on Tatooine. It was near the skeletons of Aunt Beru and Uncle Owen.
I'm Ray.
Ray dropping lightsabers on a sand planet. I didn't think that I actually made it to Tatooine.
my grandpa's Darth Sidious.
I don't know, darling. Where am I?
What is happening?
What a weird tangent to go on. Anyway,
You know what else is weird?
I do.
10-bit Patreon. Go to
It's true.
patreon.com/MyBourbonPodcast for as little as $1 a month. You can support the show. I've said this already, but at $5, you get all the bonus stuff. Every time you hear us say, we mentioned this on the pregame chats, or we did this on Pours from the Floor, or we did this on Sampling Irresistible, or we did this on Pop Chicka Wawa. It's the $5 tier of the Patreon. And you get to be a part of the Discord where we're all talking shit about each other. So join it. Did we just get a notification?
You said that, and my Discord just went off on my computer.
Look,
That was perfect timing.
You're dialed in. You're
Perfect
a part of
timing.
the Discord. Join the Patreon. It's the best thing. It's the best thing. Perry already mentioned the P.O. box where you can send samples and stuff for us to review or snack on. It's in the description.
P.O. Box 22609, Lexington, Kentucky 40522.
We don't live there, so don't go there thinking we're going to be there.
I mean, you can, but you're going to look like an idiot.
Yeah, idiot. If you
You're going to
want
look like a right fool.
If you want to write out a big letter on email, you can do it. You can send an email to thisismybourbonshop@gmail.com.
Sure.
I mean, we'll read it. Or maybe you don't listen to the instructions and you ask for the address on where to send stuff. We'll tell you in there too. If you also want to get some merch, you want to wear something that says Bourbon Shop, This Is My Bourbon Podcast, anything like that, bourbonshop.threadless.com, you can go there. What?
Nothing.
Because it said Bourbon Shop.
Yeah.
Yeah. If somebody said bourbon, they wore a shirt that said Bourbon Shop, that would be pretty cool, though.
Yeah, but you have to wear a trench coat with it so that when you open it up, it's got, yeah.
Yeah. So, and then you would have a bunch of other 10-bit merch hanging on there.
Ooh.
Oh, yeah. If you want to go to social media, you can send us DMs. You can send me a DM at Whiskey Mutant. You can send Perry a DM at PRitter1792. Only ask him about normal stuff there. But if you want to do something bourbony, whiskey, if you want to be like, I don't agree with you, I don't like what you said, you can send a DM to at My Bourbon Pod on Instagram or
Wow.
Twitter
Thanks.
or X, whatever we are.
It's Twitter. Don't call it X.
Don't call it a comeback. If you want to join the Facebook group, This Is My Bourbon. I don't even know what's happening. This is My Bourbon Podcast Facebook group. Answer some questions. We'll let you in. We post show updates once we get closer to the live show and the meetup. We'll start posting stuff there. But yeah, that's where you can get more info on Facebook. And then leave a review, a comment, anything. Stars, anything that has a star, a review, a comment, a rating, do it on all the stuff you're listening. If you're watching, you're already on YouTube, but if you're not watching, you can go to YouTube. This is My Bourbon Podcast on YouTube. We put the show up every Friday. You can see us, you can comment, you can subscribe, you can hit the bell. You can see stuff that people who listen don't understand. And then send your grandma a letter telling them to subscribe to the show. This is the longest episode in a long time.
In a hot minute. And that means that it's time for us to wrap things up. Happy New Year, everybody. Thank you so much for your continued support. We have so many amazing things coming for you in 2024. What's happening?
We're cheersing.
We're cheersing. Oh,
We're
okay.
doing this is just a tribute.
Oh, a tribute to 2023. I printed out the picture of 2023.
This is just a tribute. Raise your glasses. Here's the 10-bit 2024.
All my love to days before. Here's the things to come. Thank you all so much for listening, for watching, for supporting the show, whether you're new, old, anybody who has come into the family over the past year or so. Y'all are the best. We'll see you real soon. Until next time, though, I'm Perry.
I'm Fast and the Furious, Whiskey Mutant.
You probably shouldn't do that. Vin Diesel.
But there's other people in the show.
I know.
R.I.P. Paul Walker.
And this is my Bourbon Podcast. What happened?
That was just perfectly timed. I love Paul Walker. I love him, but you ended it so fast. Oh, do we have to do another ending?
Nope, that's okay. We're good.
You got me. Oh man.